If you are if it's not working, don't force yourself. I'm speaking from my experiences in my past. I've actually stuck through situations where I knew I should have got out of it, but I stuck in there because it's all about comfortability. You should never be too comfortable in a relationship unless that's your, you know. So I'll go ahead and let Gadiel take over a little bit, and they'll, hey, we'll bounce right back.
So, some interesting points. What I want to break down is you have the people who are single and dating. You have the
Right.
people who may be engaged and maybe looking to expand that horizon and maybe get married, right? So you have single, and then you have engaged people, and then you have another category, married, and then I'm gonna even go on another part is the people who either break up or get a divorce. And when
Right.
you break it down, it's pros and cons. It's everyone's on a different level. Whether you're dating right now, you're thinking about popping the question, or let's say you've been married for a couple years and it's either getting stale or it's not working. You have to come together as one and realize, like Javon said, what do you want? You have to be honest with each other. That's the most important thing. And let me back up a little bit. You have to be honest with yourself. Honest with yourself. How are you going to be honest with your partner of what
Right.
you want? You
Or even better, if you're not even honest in general, if you can't even provide for yourself, or if you can't even take care of yourself, how are you supposed to take care of others? Or provide or be there for others, or even be in a relationship. That's another thing to think
and
about.
I'm going to
But
call people out right now, Javon. That single life and the people, they want to party, and if that's your life, that's okay. That's on you. That's awesome. And you want to go clubbing around, and you want to go, looking for experience, new people and meet new people. That's awesome. But
right,
relationship with someone still have the old intentions of still wanting to meet other people.
exactly,
You want to be
exactly.
boyfriend and girlfriend. That's fine. Take the next step. You want to take the next step to get to know the person. See how they live. What are their goals? What are their dreams? Are you guys on the same path? Are you guys on the same road or on the opposite? You're ready to take the exit off the highway. And what
Exactly.
happens if you don't? What happens if you miss, Javon? You have to keep going, right? And then you
Yeah.
right? You have to find another exit and stuff. So
Right, exactly. Continue. But there's one thing I'm going to clear the air with right now. You know what I notice about this? It's not even generation. It's just the people in general. You know what I notice where a lot of people. So when people date, they expect you to have stuff, right? For example, but what are you providing? So if you're like, for me, if I go to somebody right now and I expect them, something out of them, and I tell them, I said, hey, listen, I expect A through Z in this relationship. Yeah, I may expect that, but what am I providing for that person while I'm expecting these expectations? So it goes both ways, because I notice a lot of people, they're like, hey, I want a person with a lot of money. I want this. This person needs to have their self together, and you know how it goes. You know what I'm talking about. Everybody knows what I'm talking about, and they expect all this stuff. They stress all this stuff, but what are you providing? What are you doing? All the expectations should be both ways, not one sided, and that's what's wrong with this world right now of what's going on, because they're so one sided, and nobody's ever able to really work together anymore and say, hey, why am I sitting there judging that person, or why am I expecting this? Okay, turn it around. You should be able to have the same stuff you're asking the person to have, right? So that's another thing that I just get tired of. I'm like, okay, well, while you're running your mouth, look at yourself in the mirror, look back at it.
in the background, and it actually gives me a perfect what I'm about to say next. Have you ever been to the pet store, right? Fell in love with that dog, right? Let's say you bought a puppy, right? Puppy home, lovey dovey, kind of like when you first get in a relationship. You're like, hey, I love you. Let's go out. It's that puppy stage. You're like, hey, I love
Right.
you. I love you. But what happens? let's say you're in a relationship, let's say you're married. I don't know your situation. Whoever's listening to this, what happens? You go to work, you go to school. We all have long days. And what happens? You come home and you don't give your other person that 100% that you used to give them. You're
Yep.
giving them that 40% of what's left. Oh, you're tired. Everybody's tired. So when
But we
you
have to
come
make
home to
sacrifices.
your other person, give them 100%. And victim of that, give them your all. Because when you're at work, you're giving them, I assume, your all what you're doing. So when you come home, give your other person that 100%, your full attention. Hey, how was work? What was this? What was that? Don't
Right.
go home giving 30%.
Right.
Oh,
Right. Because
just
you get more
don't
at
go
work
home
than at
expecting
home.
that dinner's gonna be done, that the
Right.
laundry's gonna be done. No, you have to work together.
Right. And that's a true statement. Because that's what I was saying a little earlier. You can't just one can't lean on the other and just expect, A through Z. You gotta always work together. If, for example, a man should be able to step up. Like, for example, if I'm cooking in the kitchen, right? Why should I have to ask somebody to assist in even, helping? Hey, do you need help? Like, no, men or women should be able to step up and say, hey, I got this. I got you. I'm gonna do some of the dishes while you're cooking, or I'm
Right?
gonna
Take turns.
offer
Take
to help
turns.
you.
Come
Not just
one.
depend on the one person and say, oh, they got this. That's not how that works. People have to realize that. Like, it's about taking initiative. That's how you know you're in a real good relationship. If you take initiative without the other person asking you. Now, if they have to ask you, then there's an issue. I know some people may not be perfect, but some people may need to change. But it's about like, hey, if I have the day off, I'm gonna come home, I'm gonna cook, I'm gonna clean, I'm gonna do laundry. And if the other person is working, then okay, I understand. But and then it should be vice versa. You're at work, the other person steps up. Like, hey, I got you. You shouldn't come home to not a meal. Like, what is that? It's not about eating out 24/7. So this
Right.
is another thing. The world is getting used to eating out 24/7. How about you go in
No, I'm
that
gonna hit
kitchen
you
and you
with this,
start
Javon.
cooking?
I'm gonna cut you off. You know what really like gets me is how we have these holidays at Valentine's Day. Why are you
Right,
waiting on a holiday to do something nice for your other? How about
right.
do something nice because you want to do something nice?
Throughout the
Because
year.
it's a
Thank you.
Monday, because it's
Yeah.
a Tuesday. Don't wait until Valentine's Day. Don't wait on a holiday. Do it because you
Right.
love that. You want to do something for them.
Make it random. Yeah, for sure. Like, if you want to bring some flowers today. Tomorrow, the next day, I don't care what you do. If you want to, it's not all about just, okay, oh, Valentine's Day is coming, so let me plan this big old excursion. No, love is an everyday thing. That's what's wrong with the world, because the world does not understand the definition of love.
And you don't need
They
money to
really
show
don't.
love. You don't need money.
No.
And if you don't have the money to buy a card or buy some candy, you know what? Write down on a piece of paper, turn that thing into an envelope, and for every day of the week, write something small to your other. Be like, hey, here's your lunch. By the way, I put this, or don't even tell them. Just put that note in there. Say, I appreciate you. I love you today. Just do something nice. Go do
Right,
something. Think about it.
right. And that's another thing. If a person does not have your back on your finances when you're on your lowest point and you're trying to go to the top, then that's a red flag for you right there. Like, if you're sitting here questioning finances, like, hey, or you got this? No. If I struggle, you should be able to have me. And if you struggle, I have your back the same way. It's called equally balanced. You know, that's another thing that everybody has to start learning. Don't just say, oh, mine is mine. And that's when the world becomes selfish. They're like, oh, whatever I have is mine. And, I'm just going to take what you have and I'm going to see you struggling. Like, no, there's a lot of selfish people out there. And you guys got to do better than that. You can't just be all worried about yourself, because guess what? What easily can come to you can be taken away no matter what, at the blink of an eye. You may think you have a $2,000 in your bank account right now. Guess what? Tomorrow you may wake up, it could be $2. You better stop playing and wake up, because everything is given could be taken away just like that. So no, that's another thing. Don't ever think you're better than anybody in this whole world, or who you're trying to be next to, or who you're trying to be better than. Nobody's better than anybody if you really look at it. People are set in circumstances, yes, but nobody's better than anybody.